Hello, my name is Elaine Jo. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I teach Japanese flower design, which we call Ikebana. I studied Ikebana in Japan under the headmaster of the Ichiyo School of Ikebana, which is a contemporary school, and a school which takes very strong emphasis on placement in your home. I lived in Japan for a long time, and I discovered this kind of art form there, and I was fascinated by it because it was art, it was beautiful, but because it also had side effects when you are involved in it personally and doing flower arrangements yourself. There are numerous side effects, just like you would find in any art form. You learn how to focus, you learn a lot of patience, you learn self-development and creativity, imagination. And in Ikebana, you also learn about nature. The Ikebana schools in Japan would tell you that this is the important part of Ikebana, is to observe nature, not take it for granted, and to see it in all its variety as it goes through all of the 4 seasons of the year. For example, you may take a cherry tree in the spring and you see lovely cherry blossoms. In the summer, you will see greenery from the leaves of the cherry tree. In the fall, you'll begin to see the autumn. And in the winter, you will see the branches are bare and you will see the outline of the branches, when the flowers are all put together, all of the branches are filled in. It's a wonderful way of studying nature and taking a personal interest in it and to relate to it yourself as you go through the year. In Ikebana, we study branches of trees, we study leaves, we study grasses, we study weeds. All of the elements of nature are included in our Ikebana. The branches of the leaves, the bushes, they all form the outline and they form the design. The flowers are the focal point. They add color and they lead your eye through the arrangement. The Ikebana has lots of space, and it's like it allows the breezes to flow through the flower arrangement. We do some mass at times, but even in mass arrangements, there will be space in the mass so that you can see dimension and you can see movement. One of the features of the Ichiyo School of Ikebana is its interest in designing arrangements that fit certain areas of your home. And the Japanese culture and their traditional homes, they were designed to have a place for display of artwork that was separate from the general activities of the family. That place is an alcove. It is called a tokonoma. It's the prime place for showing an Ikebana arrangement. When it's in the tokonoma, it is considered to be an art, and you look at it as you would any art, knowing though that it's fragile and it will be changing, and you watch those changes as well. Often you start an arrangement using a bud or flowers that have not bloomed, gone into maturity yet, and you watch it day by day as it goes through its lifespan. It's very, very nice to see that happening. The first arrangement that I'm showing here is to be arranged in like what a tokonoma would be if we had one in an American home. It's designed to be placed against a wall or some place in the home that is its main feature. There's nothing else around it. You enjoy it just for its sake. I used a modern flower arranging container, which means in this particular one that it would be more suitable in a very, very contemporary or modern home. And a home with lots of big rooms in it because it is a large arrangement. I chose these colors because we're now into the fall and moving on to the winter and the holidays, and this gives you that impression that you're going into a colder time, especially with the red when you think a little bit about the holidays and Christmas. And so this would be an arrangement to be seen just by itself. This arrangement is very, very different. As you can see, it's a lot more relaxed, a lot more casual than the first one I showed. It is also a seasonal arrangement, but it is more specifically for autumn because I've got some miniature nandina leaves here, which have a lot of green on them. It's a transitional color because there's green and there's red and there's yellow in these colors, and they do very well with the ilex, which is what this material is here. It has little red berries on it all over the house. I've added color with yellow to one in back, one in front, one in back, and one in the middle, so that when you turn this one around, it is visible by both the front and the back, which means that this could be a centerpiece. It's not symmetrical, but it is viewable from all sides. So you could put this on the kitchen counter, as it is here in my home, or you could put it on a coffee table, and it's very airy, so you don't really need to remove it if people are sitting and chatting. Or you could put it on a dining room table at one end of the table rather than right in the middle. I think it's a little tall to be in the middle of the table. It's pretty, as a tokonoma arrangement as well, but it is an arrangement that is viewable from all sides and directions. It's very warm and friendly, makes you want to take a look at the beautiful colors. And as you watch this nandina with all its individual stems, and you can see how the space is shown in between the leaves, and the space is shown here. I added this because I thought it needed an interest point. And also this was very strong and this is a little bit on the short side. So I just wanted to add a little bit more of height to give it a little stronger sense of movement. And this is a very, very nice movement. The way this stem just kind of curves, that means that it has a sense of life in it. And it's very nice contrast with this, which is very straight. So this would be my autumn arrangement, which is veerable from at least two sides and really three, if you like it to see it like that. It's very nice as well with the flowers in the back. So there's a lot of dimension there. Or as you go around it, look at the space in between. Isn't that nice? And there, that would be what I had anticipated to be the front. These are chrysanthemums, a type of chrysanthemum, and as I said, is nandina. This is ilex, and this is a stem that is just a reed that grows in our pond. Many of the flowers that I've used today in the demonstration were taken off of our property. And that's another nice thing. If you're doing Ikebana, you could just go outside the door and choose your material and then go to Trader Joe's or Publix or somewhere to get the flowers to add to it. Or in the summertime, if you have cut flowers in your garden, you've got everything right there. We use different kinds of support systems in Ikebana. We don't use what the traditional Western support system would be, which would be an oasis, but we do other kinds of support systems. This is a transitional arrangement as well, but this gives the impression of it being a little bit cooler. So we would think of this as going into the new year. The pine in here comes from my yard. We had a very bad windstorm during the night with noise on our roof during the nighttime that scared us. We thought a tree was going to fall on us. We're surrounded by trees, they're mostly pine trees. And when we got up this morning, the ground is covered with pine and logs and all kinds of different leaves. And so I thought, well, I will rescue this. So I just kept a piece of pine and I incorporated it in this arrangement. What makes it go into kind of a winter design or is this branch here, which was also on the ground outside. I don't know what it is, but it's totally empty of any leaves. So this has a totally different feeling than the other two arrangements you saw. It's not viewable from all directions, so it could be a tokonoma arrangement, but we don't have tokonomas, so we would put this in a corner or in a bathroom or somewhere that you walking by, you can see it just from the front, sometimes from the side. And if you do Ikebana, you know if it's arranged well because it has a nice view from the side as well. I added a little bit of bittersweet. I like bittersweet. We wait for it. For beginning of summer, we're waiting for the bittersweet to come out. It finally did this year, and then it was very, very popular. So I don't know how well you can see this. It's getting a little bit dry right now, but bittersweet, we usually start arranging it when it has the pods covering it and they're still green. And then we watch it as it develops and it loses the outside shell. And look, oh, gold, lo and behold, these beautiful red berries come out. And they have a lot of lime. They just go everywhere. So they're wonderful prime material to use for Ikebana. And the flower there is a white sunflower. I found it at the flower market yesterday, and I just couldn't resist it. It's just beautiful. Little tinge of orange there, but I just thought it also looked cool, like it might be a witch's arrangement. This camellia, we've had a very, very warm fall this year. Usually these don't come out until later, sometimes even after the first of the year. And it has some more of the pine that was fallen on the ground. And it has a lichen branch that as you can see, I was balancing it across the back of the container. We love lichen branches here because, especially when they're wet, they just got glistening green. They're just beautiful. So this arrangement is also just to be seen from the front. It's small enough that it might go on a mantelpiece because it's flat here. I usually keep the vase, it's a Visin pottery, I usually keep it on the mantel shelf. But it's a perfect place also to have a small Ikebana. And so that one, I think, would be appropriate there. Or maybe in a bathroom, or some narrow space that is crying for an image to be showing itself with a solid background. I think we've seen some space in here. You can see space here. Look on the whiteboard how beautiful that space is there. You can see through it, so you get dimension. You can see movement because this branch here has a curve to it. And the flower is put off slightly to the side rather than right straight in front where it's so strong. But it's just a beautiful camellia and a beautiful vase, and the combination of all of it goes very well together. I talked here a lot about placement in the homes for Ikebana, so I'll just mention that I wrote a book a year ago that's available on Amazon, and it's called At Home with Ikebana. And many of my students and friends, they contributed to arrangements in the locations, beautiful, beautiful homes, in many different locations where they put their flowers. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the Ikebana today. And I hope to see you again.